It's your boy Kim White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. Normally when you see my face, I got something to say about one of the issues of the day or commentary on something that is relevant to our daily life. Perhaps this is a commentary, I don't know, but it is my opinion and mine alone. I was watching TV today. Yeah, that's right. If you can believe it, I was watching TV. And I saw a political ad come across that TV. That political ad was for a gentleman, Mr. Michael Lujan. He's running for sheriff in the county of Riverside. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what has me talking to you right now. It's so funny how when we do something right, you barely or rarely get credit for it. But let somebody do something wrong, everybody's there. Everybody's there. We've seen our nation, we've seen our state, we've seen our counties and our cities eroding. We've seen draconian behavior from our administrators, putting masks on us, that's your choice, making us shelter in place, destroying businesses, crushing our freedoms that were guaranteed to us under the United States Constitution of America. I want you to remember something. We always seem to forget when things were bad and who had our backs. Like the guys that Jesus healed with the leprosy. And I'm not comparing Sheriff Chad BIANCO to Jesus, of course not. But isn't it odd that when we do something good, people run and go, they're glad that you helped them, but then they're gone. Sometimes they don't even come back and say thank you. Well, I just want to remind you all of a truth. When we saw ourselves locked in our homes, when we saw that we couldn't conduct business, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, this elected official, Chad BIANCO, he gave me a ray of hope. He gave me a good feeling because he was standing up and fighting for our constitutional rights. And thank God he was an elected official. Because if somebody else had to decide his fate, perhaps our fate might have been a little bit different.
Your freedom. Last year, Bianco refused to assign deputies to enforce the state's mask mandate and rejected Governor Newsom's stay-at-home orders, calling them a violation of constitutional rights.
So I'm asking you all today to remember when times were rough, when most people crumbled like dry cookies to the pressure and the weight of the woke. Chad BIANCO stood by us. Chad BIANCO risked his career, and here's the proof.
Hello, I'm Riverside County Sheriff Chad BIANCO. We have all recently learned of the new regional approach to combating COVID-19 and the pending closure and stay-at-home orders from our governor. We were also told there was a potential he would be withholding federal and state funding from counties who did not enforce the orders. Ironically, it wasn't that long ago our same governor loudly and publicly argued how wrong it was for the President of the United States to withhold federal funding from states not complying with federal laws. The dictatorial attitude toward California residents while dining in luxury, traveling, keeping his business open, and sending his kids to in-person private schools is very telling about his attitude toward California residents, his feelings about the virus, and it is extremely hypocritical. These closures and stay-at-home orders are flat out ridiculous. The metrics used for closures are unbelievably faulty and are not representative of true numbers and are disastrous for Riverside County. When the medical field is so split about this virus, it might be time to employ a little common sense. Keeping money and support from our hospitals, who are struggling with normal, seasonal increases in patients, coupled with COVID-19 patients, is irresponsible. It appears part of the new goal is to shift attention away from his and others' personal behavior with a do as I say, not as I do attitude by turning public opinion against California sheriffs. He is expecting us to arrest anyone violating these orders, cite them and take their money, close their businesses, make them stay in their homes, and take away their civil liberties, or he will punish all of us. I believe that all jobs are essential to someone. Leaders do not threaten, attempt to intimidate, or cause fear. Bullies do. As has been our position from the beginning of this pandemic, the Sheriff's Department is asking and expecting Riverside County residents to act responsibly and do what they can to protect themselves and their family from contracting the virus. Wear your mask and practice social distancing. While the governor's office and the state has threatened action against violators, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department will not be blackmailed, bullied, or used as muscle against Riverside County residents in the enforcement of the governor's orders. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a safe and happy New Year.
Because come June 7th, you got to make a decision. You're either going to reward Chad Bianco for standing up for us, or you're going to vote for a guy, this Michael Lujan, who's supported by the Desert Sun and the LAist. And, you know, the Desert Sun is trying to get Chad Bianco to disprove a negative. They wanted him to explain something he felt he could have done better. What a loaded, snarky, nasty question. And Sheriff Chad Bianco told him, I really can't answer that question. Isn't it nice sometimes to see people who are strong in their convictions and know they did the best they could and know they stood on the side of right? These people with their little pitfalls, you know, oh, he stood with the J6ers. He was with the Promise Keepers. He was this, he was that. Calm your hearts, calm your minds, and think about those ads you're looking at right now. They're basically trying to make you think that a man who stood for good, who stood for our freedoms, who stood for the Constitution, was doing something wrong. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, you really need to get this. I understand that there's competition in jobs and career lines, and somebody feels that they can do something better. But when you think about the truth of the fact that Sheriff Chad Bianco said, hey, I did the best job I could. Why are you going to ask me if I have any regrets about what I did? He did a good job. He's doing a good job. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, what is Michael Lujan telling you? What are those people who support Michael Lujan telling you? They're saying to you that if you elect Michael Lujan, he's going to do exactly the opposite of Sheriff Chad Bianco. Think about it. What does that really mean? You better get ready to get locked down because of the monkeypox. You better get ready to get locked down at the slightest hint or the slightest whim of those who want to take your freedoms away from you once again. And this man, obviously, Michael Lujan, will be right there using the full weight and force of the elected position of sheriff to wear you out. There's a law called Posse Comitatus, where the government should not infringe upon the rights of the people. It's our sheriffs that protect us from the government, believe it or not. So if you end up with a woke sheriff, I feel sorry for you. So while there's still daylight, while there's still time, don't make that mistake, Riverside County. Don't you do that to yourself. And let me just add this, because normally I don't parse my life down the color lines and the race lines and all. I try not to deal with that. I deal with life as a human being. But let's go ahead and kick the ballistics. Let's get it really real in this little thing I'm doing right here. Don't know what this is. It's just something I feel I needed to do. As a Black American, as Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, man, you ain't Black. No, I'm Black enough. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago. when it comes to law enforcement, I done seen some things, okay? I done seen some things. But let me say this. Under the leadership of Sheriff Chad Bianco, I feel safe. I know that he's a man that holds his organization accountable. I believe that as a Black human being moving through the county of Riverside, should I encounter one of his deputies, things are going to go okay. And if they don't go okay, he's still going to do his job and hold them accountable. I believe that my rights as a United States citizen are important to Sheriff Chad Bianco. I've met the man, shook his hand, stood in front of him a few times. And those of you out there, you know, you just got to be around a person a little bit of time and you can dial in on them. Do not, I can only say this way, don't do it. Every time we make the mistake of letting whoever these mysterious voices are on these political campaign ads, every time we let them, he's with the Promise Keepers. He stood with far-right extremists. Every time we let, oh, he was a friend of Donald Trump. Every time we let these mysterious voices talk that bizarre sci-fi Orwellian nightmare stuff in our ears, and we elect who they told you to elect, things just get worse. They get worse, worse. We know what the World Health Organization and Joe Biden are plotting to try to do. They want to take the sovereign rights of America away from us. How much easier is that going to be if you elect someone like Lujan as your sheriff? Ready, willing, and able to work with the World Health Organization. Ready, willing, and able, and obviously supported by those who support the likes of Joe Biden. You want to play that game left? You want to get down like that? I'm going to turn it back on you. Every time we turn around, you want to talk about Donald J. Trump like he's an anathema, like he's negative. I got one for you. Lujan is supported by and endorsed by, I do believe, Joe Biden and those who would support Joe Biden. America, do you really want to play with that? You know what's up. You know what time it is. Give Sheriff Bianco, Chad Bianco, your respect and your vote. He stood up for you at a time it was really risky to do it. Now it's our turn to stand up for him. If we don't stand up for the people who stood up for us, we'll get everything we deserve. And that includes the likes of a Lujan. This is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. Thank you for listening to me. This was my personal opinion. And I hope you're listening. I hope you're paying attention out there, because we don't have time to keep playing around, y'all. We need to soundly reject these type of candidates. The man is running for office against Chad Bianco. That means he's running against everything that Chad Bianco stood for. And the things that Chad Bianco stood for are the very things that gave us a breath of air that said, we just might make it. You know what to do on June 7th. Don't muck this up. And you know what? Just an afterthought. I just thought about this. I was reading one of the articles from one of those leftist newspapers that's clearly in the tank for Lujan. And I believe it was Lujan or either the paper itself that said he wants to bring Lujan, if you make a mistake of electing him, he wants to bring accountability back to the sheriff's office. See, they tell you who they are if you listen close enough. Let me break this down real quick. Just had to add this part to my own personal endorsement. Let's just break this down. Sheriff Chad Bianco already has demonstrated accountability and awareness of accountability. And what I mean by awareness of accountability, he knows who he's accountable to. He's accountable to the people, the good citizens of Riverside County, the citizens of America who come through his county from all across the nation. So he's aware of who he should be accountable to. And it sounds like Lujan wants to be accountable to who? And Gavin Newsom while we're at it. And anybody else that wants to try to lock you down or take your freedoms from you or come up with the next thing, whether it be the monkey virus, the next rendition of COVID, or the, XYZ elemental P, whatever it might be. That's who he wants to be accountable to, because clearly, if he was accountable to the American people the same way that Sheriff Chad Bianco is, he said it. He would have said, I too want to be accountable to the American people. No, no, no. That's not what he said. He said, I want to bring accountability back to the sheriff's office, as if though it's not there already. Think about it. This is Kim White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. No one paid me, no one made me. I'm doing this because I'm an American citizen and I have a right to chime in on any election that's going on in my area. And this is my opinion. I hope you were paying attention. Thank you.